Business news now. Brian Quinn is here. He's starting here in France. In fact, the government is planning some pretty drastic measures to tackle the country's mounting debt. Brian.
Stuart, the French Minister for Public Accounts, says the government will be seeking to either combine or eliminate 1/3 of all agencies by the end of the year. Amélie de Montchalin unveiled that plan in an interview with right-wing news channel CNews on Sunday. France is staring down one of the highest annual deficits in the EU. Its shortfall hit 5.8% of GDP last year. Officials are trying to get that down to 5.4% this year, with the goal of getting back to the EU limit of 3% by the end of the decade. De Montchalin says the government's various agencies count some 180,000 employees and that the merger plan would save 2 to 3 billion euros in spending. That is far from the 40 billion euros in cuts that Finance Minister Éric Lombard has set as a goal for the next fiscal year. Agencies like the one formed to promote organic farming in France could be on the chopping block. De Montchalin says the government can reduce headcount without resorting to Doge-style firings. Here she is.
We have to simplify. We need a stronger, more efficient state. Yes, we are going to be making staffing cuts. There will be fewer government jobs as a result. We have many means without creating a crisis, without breaking out the chainsaw. We will be doing this with clarity, transparency, and strategy.
Now, next, with conflicts raging right around the world, military spending has hit a level not seen since the Cold War.
Worldwide military spending hit $2.7 trillion in 2024. That is according to the latest report from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI. Europe and the Middle East seeing some of the biggest rises, mostly due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Israel's destruction of the Gaza Strip. Defense expenditures were up 9.4% last year over 2023, marking the 10th consecutive year of increased outlays. The European region, including Russia, spending 17% more overall to hit $693 billion total. Russia alone has doubled its military spending since 2015. Its 2024 outlay hit $149 billion. That is 34% higher than 2023. The EU's rearmament plan, in the face of Russia's renewed threat, saw Germany boost its spending by 28%. The U.S., meanwhile, remaining by far the world's biggest military spender. Donald Trump's disengagement from European security, though, pushing the bloc to raise its defense budgets. Researchers say the rise in global tensions and conflicts will have profound socioeconomic impacts. Take a listen.
To fund the unprecedented increase in spending, countries have to make trade-offs in their budgetary decisions. For example, we've seen many European countries cutting other spending like international aid to fund the increase in military spending, and also countries are trying to raise taxes or rely on loans or debt to fund the spending.
Straight to the markets. How are they shaping up today?
Been a relatively calm day on Asian indexes Monday, Stuart. The Nikkei in Tokyo up 1/3% following comments from Donald Trump on Friday that the U.S. and Japan are close to reaching a deal on tariffs. Toyota shares gained nearly 4% on reports that the car maker may acquire one of its key parts suppliers. Chinese indexes mixed after the country's finance ministry pledged new policies to help hit domestic growth targets. Hong Kong up 0.25%. Shanghai just barely south of the flat line. Meanwhile, here in Europe, indexes opened higher as we kick off a busy week for earnings reports and economic data. Spain's economy is expected to have outperformed expectations with its latest GDP print coming out Tuesday. Porsche and Deutsche Bank are due to release their latest earnings this week. The DAX in Frankfurt up 0.4%. The CAC General here in Paris up around 0.5% at the open.
Finally, for business, there is one sector of China's domestic economy that appears pretty immune to trade tensions. This is about pandas, though, isn't it? Panda tourism.
Panda bears, Stuart. The city of Chengdu in southwestern China is ground zero for the country's drive to preserve the cute, clumsy panda bear. It's the only remaining region where they are endemic, and the fuzzy creature's fans are legion, something that's led to something of a panda boom in Chengdu. Luke Strego takes a look.
They're rare, they're fluffy, they're unbearably cute, and they're one of the driving forces behind Chengdu's economy. With the southwestern Chinese city home to panda preservation efforts, it's an enormous draw for tourists.
I never thought the image of pandas could be used in all kinds of items. The most distinctive feature is this stamp. And there's a stamp rally activity with panda-shaped stamps. And there are small earrings and bookmarks, all of them panda-themed.
Over 12 million tourists visited the Chengdu research base of panda preservation last year, and some 10,000 businesses in the city aren't shy about pandering to their desires. Sales related to the Chinese cultural icon topped $28 million in 2024. On a wider scale, the panda is also part of China's soft power, with pairs periodically dispatched to zoos around the world, like He Feng and Lan Yun, who left for Austria on Wednesday.
We hope that after going abroad, the giant pandas will form a bond and successfully breed. The joint efforts in giant panda research, care, and breeding will also promote science, technology, and cultural exchanges between both sides.
That's not always easy. Local superfans of the animals often protest their departure, causing pandemonium for authorities, meaning they have to leave amid tight secrecy.
It's a sector of tourism that's, you could say it's rather dependable.
Too many puns. Too many puns. They are very cute, though. Thank you, Brian. Brian Quinn with the business.